Jill Savage and Matthew Peterson here at America Fest, and we have Marcus Pittman with us. He's the CEO and founder of LOOR TV. So take us through this, because this is a streaming platform that is out there for Christians and conservatives. So how did you come up with this? When did this journey start for you?
Probably about 4 years ago. I made a movie called Babies Are Still Murdered Here. It was a pro-life movie, put it on Amazon Prime, and it got deleted. And before that, I did...
wait. Amazon Prime just deleted the movie because they didn't like it?
Yeah, it was just... Somebody told me they couldn't find it on Amazon Prime, and I went to look, and there was just a note on the back end that said, we've removed it.
How long was it there before they removed it?
3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it took them a while to find it.
But it had like all 5-star reviews. It was incredibly popular. It was a really good film. And
that's why they had to get rid of it.
You had to get rid of it. So I thought that... Well, before that, I was... head of advertising for an agency that did marketing for a major Christian streaming company, and we were spending like $1 million a month advertising to like 65-year-old women, right? And so I was like, well, this is, a problem because our distribution platforms aren't serving younger people, and then the secular distribution platforms aren't serving conservative people. So I was just like, well, what does like an MTV for Barron Trump's friends look like? Right? Like that, like we don't have an entertainment brand for Gen Z. Nobody serves that market. It's a massive hole. We have a bunch of streaming platforms for preschoolers, but we don't have a platform for college age students. And so, but in order to do that, you really have to break the rules of filmmaking. So we thought, well, filmmakers are going to have to get their own funding. And so we started LOOR with the idea that you can actually spend your monthly subscription allocating a portion of your monthly subscription towards funding indie artists, movies, and filmmakers that are making the craziest content.
So your streaming platform is also like a Kickstarter campaign at the same time.
Yeah, we use video game transaction money. So like just like Fortnite V-Bucks or Roblox. We just use those sort of transactions. So we call it loot. So every week you get loot, and you can allocate that loot towards filmmakers, and we've done really well. I mean, in September, our average purchase was $200 per purchase, and Netflix and Disney, they can only get $20. That's it, right? And so then they raise their prices, or like YouTube TV just increase their prices again. Because they don't have a way to maximize individual customer values or monetize the whales like we do. So yeah, it's really great, and it's supporting filmmakers who need to start and get a platform.
So I mean, we met a few years back, and I just thought like, this is what was cool about what you were doing is that you were really rethinking things, right?
Yeah.
And you were working it out in sort of real time. And I mean, just contemplate what the man just said, right? Using what everyone knows online who's younger, right? Yeah. How to use the V-Bucks, how to use the digital currency, right, within a platform in order to basically not only vote but support and help create, right? That the art that you want to see, and the artists you want to see, the projects you want to see. Can you talk a little bit, because I think it helps explain just how cool this is. Can you talk a little bit about like the evolution of this over time, because you've basically created this community that exists, and you've been, you started this from nothing.
Yeah, when
right
I
out of
talked
the blue.
to you, it was an idea.
Yeah,
I think like we haven't even launched, and we raised our first bit of investment, and we put it all into the technology because we had to build an economy, we had to build loot, like we had to invent that basically, and sort of build out this way that once a project is funded to 100%. By the audience, it streams immediately. So that's a different, that's a completely different. You couldn't just like white label the streaming platform. So we spent about 2 years developing it, got it to a beta, and now we're in the sort of pre-launch, early launch phases of the platform. But really, when you look at it, like let's say like Fortnite or Candy Crush, they make millions of dollars a day by people just buying diamonds or loot, and then they're just getting extra lives. But with this, you're actually funding movies and TV shows that can last for a generation, and supporting artists to get their name out there in a way that they would not have that opportunity to do. So, and then the best part is, like, if you subscribe today, you get access to all the content that's been funded previously. We call that an inheritance, right? So all the subscribers are coming together. They're funding independent artists and filmmakers. And really what we try to present ourselves as is, everybody's building a major league sports team in the streaming space, right? It's like $100 million we have to put towards these big budget projects. And Hollywood's guilty of this. Conservative film is guilty of this, where we think we have to have these big budget productions. But what's happened is we don't have an independent film market anymore. So we need that high school football, we need that college football, or we don't have a talent pool.
Yes.
And instead we're going to have to hire actors from Hollywood at expensive wages, crews at Hollywood at expensive wages. And what's better is to take, let's say, $10 million and fund $500,000 shows. And then see which one works.
Yeah, or $300 million in Hollywood and have it fail, and then it's all gone in an instant, and then
really
they try it again.
That's really important, because when you spend $300 million on one production, you immediately get rid of any creative risk.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes.
And so then the movie fails because there's no creative risk. Right, and the film just, so you're stuck with secondary IP like Marvel and stuff like that, and not anything new.
So Marcus, just in this conversation, it's very clear that you are a media disruptor, right? Like you are out there transforming the space. So how do you see your role in this industry, and to make sure that everything has changed? How do you see your role?
I think I want to look post Hollywood. So I'm not interested in making a Hollywood alternative. I think Hollywood is going to go through some serious problems with all the stuff they have, and I don't think conservatives should be making just copycat alternatives. I think we should be pioneering tech and pioneering ways movies are funded and stuff like that in a way that's completely different. So I want to see myself as an innovator, but I also want to see myself as somebody who really values and cares for the artist and the story, not necessarily the faith-based messaging with it or the conservative messaging with it, but just, is this a good story? This is a dumb cartoon, but is it a good dumb cartoon? Right? Like, yeah, that sort of, like, that's what we need. And every let me just say this. Every major media brand in the history of cable television, for the most part, was marketed towards young men. So MTV, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Nickelodeon, Food Network wasn't doing well, and then they got like Man vs. Food and Alton Brown. That was real masculine themed content. So when we market to the 35-year-old Lifeway Christian bookstore mom, which is where most of all of our marketing came from, because that was the distribution point. It was a good thing to do, but I think we've lost masculine entertainment as a result of that. And Hollywood doesn't have this either right now. Hollywood doesn't have an entertainment brand for young men either.
So this is really, really important. It gets me very excited, because one of the cool things about what you're doing is is you can see where the creators want to go. Because if you have enough creators who have their finger on the pulse, when you kind of crowdsource like this, you can see which direction they want to go. Does that match up with this vision? Because it does strike me like there's a lot of people who want to move in this area. Where is the content going? Like, if I go on the platform now and what you've seen over the last few years, what is the trajectory? Are people rising to meet this demand? And what kind of things are they talking about making?
Yeah. So there's a really big interest in sci-fi horror that actually has some sort of positive outcome. That's not just gruesome for the sake of gruesome, but there's a lot of really great stories you can tell through the lens of horror. Adult cartoons, stupid cartoons, sketch comedy, a lot of the action sport comedy shows that you used to see on Fuel TV is a great example of that. Like there's just a lot. There's so much. Like we can make whatever we want. Right, we're big fans of free speech, right? So you can make whatever you want. So there isn't any limits, but I think there really is an interest in just pushing boundaries, because Hollywood's not pushing boundaries anymore. So I think where things are going is just innovative, low budget sort of content that's not social media content. I think those are two different things, like YouTube and TikTok. I always hear Gen Z doesn't have an attention span. That's not true, because remember, Barron Trump got Trump on 3-hour-long podcasts that Gen Z is watching. but there isn't any long-form entertainment content being made for Gen Z. So you can't say, well, they don't watch the content. There's nobody. There is no market. Well, there is a market, but there's just not people selling to that crowd. So I think Gen Z is going to start looking for art and story as they get into, especially more into conservative values. You're going to start to understand the story more.
Yeah, so what's the future then of the industry overall, right? Whether it's Gen Z or not, just the future that you see things shaping into based on Christian or conservative values?
Yeah, I think, one, we're going to break free of the rom-com formulaic genre that is faith-based films. That's going to go by the wayside. But I also think what we're going to see for the first time is a radical punk rock, independent, Christian, faith-based, conservative film industry that's going to be exactly like Tarantino was. It's going to be exactly like the original filmmakers was. And with Netflix coming in, they've bottomed out the independent film market. They own Cannes and all this other sort of stuff, and we're going to change it.
Well, from your lips to God's ears, because we want to see this happen. We want to make it happen.
You can subscribe.
We want to
today.
make media great again.
Marcus, where can they follow you?
LOOR.TV. Subscribe, get a free 7-day trial. And I say stick with it for about 3 months and fun projects. Every week you get loot, you can spend it, you get an email. And then if you really like a project, you can buy a bunch of gold loot and just fund an artist. So
We need the loot. Marcus Pittman, thanks so much.
Thank you.